Hello everyone, this is the Hood Mystic, aka Kyrie, and I want to talk to you about how to read natal charts easily and effectively. These next videos will help you understand the book by that same title, but also encourage you to join me at Spiritual Ascension University. Also, if you want to learn more about this intimate science we know and love called astrology, please utilize the links in the description for more information. Thank you guys for watching this video, and be sure to hit me up if you have any additional questions at hoodmystic@gmail.com. Peace. Hello everyone, this is the Hood Mystic, aka Kyrie. Hello everyone, this is the Hood Mystic. Hello everyone. If you were wondering how to read natal charts easily and effectively, the workbook that'll help you understand astrology personal way for free, feel free to join me at the Spiritual Ascension University, where if you sign up for Astrology 1, I will personally send you the book and also get you updated on monthly Zoom classes where we can discuss either the book or your understanding astrology every month. The first thing that I want you to understand is that astrology is a tool. Astrology is not a religion, nor is it a fixed idea or a way of life. Meaning you can be just the way you are, understand astrology, and help you get to where you're going. And astrology is not reserved for specialists and specific tailored understandings. I'll give you a better example. If you showed 100 astrologers one chart, you would get 100 different readings. And this is where I need you. The varying degrees of understanding astrology is based on the individual's ability to connect the dots. So I'm counting on you to be an amazing astrologer, but you just don't know it yet. Here at the Spiritual Ascension University, we'll teach you how to connect the dots, and we'll learn your perspective, because your perspective is necessary. I'll teach you how to understand astrology. I'll teach you not to go to Google to reference your astrology, but reference yourself. So please, like I said earlier, utilize the links in the descriptions to join us at the Spiritual Ascension University now. Peace, and I want to thank you guys for watching this video. Peace to the family. You know, I gotta get my water in, because once I start talking, I ain't gonna be able to drink it like I be doing. You know, that part of life is just water for me, so I gotta, you know, set these videos up so I get enough water beforehand. So hopefully y'all doing the same and y'all ain't tripping. You know, y'all getting y'all water going. So peace to the family. Hope everything is going well. No copyright infringements this morning. And get this message out. But one thing I would say, man, is make sure the kids ain't listening to this one. Ain't like I'm gonna get X-rated or nothing like that. It's just a mature subject, you know. So the first thing that I want to say to the family is, peace. How is everyone doing? How is everybody feeling? I am about to get into this full moon energy and, just explain this in the most astrological way possible without actually dealing with particular sensational ideologies or news or whatever types of things are captivating the public at whatever moment, whether it's religion, spirituality. I hear it all. Before I hopped on this live and going through this transformation with my wife, this whole rebirth that we're experiencing as a family, it's like the most cringiest thing in the world is like listening to spiritual people. Like that is like, it makes your ears bleed a little bit, because it's a clarity that exists in being who you are versus trying to, strive and achieve and work for and have and all of this. I'm gonna deal with the real principle today. The principle that I want us to lock in is the principle of a centipede. Understand that you're a part of a centipede, and your involvement within the centipede, even if you're alone, is in doing the things that your other energies are doing at the same pace as you. But then again, they might be moving at they might be doing a different thing, but they're doing the same exact thing because they're a part of one unit. And the part of the centipede is that it can't be fake. So you can't be lying or not doing shit or not attempting to be shit. You got to really be your talent, your ability, your skill, your meditation. You have to be that greater part of you. And this is a real personal conversation that I'm having. However, please be sure to like, share, and subscribe to the channel so more people can hear. I want to introduce myself. I'm the Hood Mystic, representing www.hoodmystic.com. Want to do like somewhat of an intro, or not even an intro, just give some updates. Books will be sent out. A major push to get everything up to Q. I cashed out on books. Basically, like I literally spent all my money on books. So I'm gonna really work and center and focus on just selling books, because I tried to pussyfoot around with it, and I ended up stressing myself out. So instead of just getting twos and fews, I just went, bought my whole catalog, got me some storage space. So now I got an office space and a storage space. The next step is the storefront and the fulfillment center. But of course, taking those baby steps, I want to thank everybody who listens to this channel, that buys books from me, that tells people about me or whatever I got going or whatever the case may be. I really want to say thank you. You know what I'm saying? Like beyond all of this shit, because it just wouldn't be possible without people just kind of, helping out the algorithm, watching the video, sharing the video, just getting the word out, because it's not easy to be successful out here. It's been plenty of people who have my same ideas and, never got it off the ground. But, me personally, I'm just fortunate that I'm getting it off the ground, but it's a realization that I'm not getting it off the ground off of my merit. You know what I'm saying? At any point, y'all can tear me down. You know what I'm saying? So I don't want to come up here and act like we not a centipede out here. And the workbooks that I'm sending them out so you can actually work them, so you can actually advance. You know what I'm saying? I need you now to engage in the workbooks. I need you to ask me questions. I need you to use the workbooks. I need your life to transform, because that's how I'm able to get the storefront. That's how I'm able, to buy out the whole high rise. So, I can give office spaces to everyone, I have a real big goal, and it's just wonderful to kind of see it slowly metamorphosize into a point where it's not a pipe dream. It's actually, if I just keep moving in a particular direction. So let me stop referencing right? I have to reference us and we, whether I'm referencing my wife, whether I'm referencing the brotherhood, whoever I'm referencing, none of this is done with just me personally. I'm a reflection of you, and this is all about us. You know what I'm saying? And if you don't have this concept, right? If you don't have this ideology, if you can't wrap your head around you being a part of a centipede, right? Then your ability to grasp spirituality as a modality is going to be very difficult. And the best suggestion that I have for you is to possibly go to church, or, go to college, do something existential that'll make you feel good about your existential circumstances. Because in spirituality, we move as centipedes. It's an alignment. And an alignment and movement. And it's also a quantum entanglement in the space of Will and Jada, but we're not exposing each other on national TV. You understand? If you're in a polygamous relationship, that's nobody's business, right? If you're in an open relationship, that's nobody's business. Even if somebody tries to defame you or discredit you, never do you have to explain your entanglements. Because once you answer to a quantum level, you don't answer to a lower level of people who couldn't even grasp your financials, your mentals, your emotionals. I'll do you one better. Y'all are absorbing the astrological knowledge presently with me in the live, or listening to in the video, and it feels good. Maybe you got your notebook. Hopefully you done rolled up a nice J, you feel me, and you getting your smoke on, or whatever you like to do, things of that nature. Glass of water, and you chilling, you catching a vibe, and everything is right with the world. It's a nice evening, right? It's somebody else right now watching another person play a video game. They not even playing the video game. They watching somebody else play a video game, and it's millions of people. It ain't even little kids. It's grown ass people that you walking past in Kroger's. Soon as they get to the crib, they gonna cut on YouTube and watch somebody else play a video game, right? And I say all of that to say, this shit ain't for everybody, right? And I'm cool with that. You know what I'm saying? I'm cool with that. And I really want y'all to understand that a unit is much more pertinent in the spirituality modality than you thinking about yourself. So there are going to be businesses, there are going to be readers, there are going to be botanicas, there are going to be places who will accept your dollars and accept your ignorance and never get you to the point. When I started this video, I say I hear spiritual people and it makes me cringe, because they'll even go as far as to give you things to do now, right? Hey, do this, do that. Well, how is that going to help me? It's not, right? It's not going to help you until you figure out your soul group and your soul family and figure out the movement of your personal centipede. What the hell? I don't know. Come on now, Tiffany Haddish. I know you. I know. Be cool. We'll talk later. Okay. So anyways, she ain't like how I was. Listen, me and Prime and Dark Serpent, we got this thing going called Chakra Nova. And our goal, we have a 7th-month goal. We have a beginning, middle, and an end. We have an overall vision of what we're creating. But whether you join it or not, it's happening between the three of us. The monetization is the sharing part, but because we want you to join us. We're not overtaxing you. $23, you'll get everything that we got, right? Meditations, books, everything that we got. Why are we doing this? Because we want you to deal with spirituality in a space where you're not listening to people just, confuse you even deeper. Because you can do all of these things externally. Spells, writing assignments, books, this, da-da-da-da-da, right? But if you have no hormonal understanding of how your hormones even react to stressful situations, right? You don't recognize that your hormones produce. So let's just deal with it, right? Your adrenal glands produce cortisol, right? When you're in stressful situations, right? Do they have to produce cortisol when you're in stressful situations? No, right? They don't have to, right? But if you don't cut the switch on, right, like walking into a room, right, and it's darkness, right, and people giving you, readings, spells, rituals, do this, oh, you connected to that, oh, you connected to this, oh, do this pose, read this book, do this, that, and the third, right? But it's a dark ass room and you still can't see shit and you still don't know what's going on, right? What me, Prime, and Serpent are simply doing is cutting the light on, right? So at least you can see all of the stupid shit that we see, and when we have our private lives that we will not share, will hear us cracking up. But we will be doing more lives and more liquidy, fluid, centipede. I was thinking about calling it the wet centipede. Dark Serpent, Prime Harmonic. What y'all think about that? Anyways, because it's liquid and we connected in that space. It's going to be on Instagram. Might do it on Periscope. Might pop up on Facebook. Might pop up on YouTube. And just talk about just spirituality and randomness and things of that nature. For no clout whatsoever. Just to, check in on the family and be present at a specific point in time where we are needed. And that's how we're just going to get down. But I say all that to say that a simple bodily exercise and spirituality might be all you need. And all of the shit that you think you need, right? It might not even be, it might be for you, right? It might be the thing that you need. But even if you was Einstein and I said, okay, Einstein, figure out this math problem, but I'm gonna shut the lights off and leave you in the dark. It's on a piece of paper. Here go your pen. You got 10 minutes to answer it, right? Even Einstein can't answer the math problem. So you at a disadvantage in all of your spiritual pursuits, all of your human pursuits, all of your emotional pursuits, all of your relationships, all of your business opportunities. Oh, let me sign up to the Loom. Let me do this. Let me do that. Let me do this. Let me do that. What about your adrenal glands when you produce stressful situations? Do they produce cortisol or do they produce opioids and cannabinoids? Did you know your body could produce opioids and cannabinoids if you start raising your kundalini? Do you know the supplements? Do you have the guided meditations and the particular locks to activate your body? What we do, we have a trained dude that's supposed to be in Tibet. I don't even know what to call them type of people. They not. Y'all need to help me with trying to title and identify somebody. But when you dealing with a master referencing Prime Harmonic, it just is what it is. He don't need a label. He about to tell me, and the people that was on the meditation, day 1, day 2, they bear witness to the power and the wisdom through these guided meditations. So that's available, but we come in August 22nd, August 23rd for another one. And I gotta promote this and I gotta share this with the people because I want you to come. Like, I want you to come. I want you to experience it. If you spend $23 and you say, Hood, I wasted my damn money. Why'd you waste my time with that stupid shit? I didn't even want to come. Bro, I'll give you your fucking $23 back. Excuse my language, right? But I'll give you your $23 back. It's not a thing, right? Of course, we're enterprising, right? Of course, we're growing. Y'all scared about the centipedes. Y'all scared about the centipedes, I see. Okay. But y'all will get there. Y'all will get there. Wet centipedes coming soon. So where we're going, man, is an interesting place. Cosmologically, spiritually, all points in between. And I just want y'all to have a team, right? And I'm introverted and don't want to deal with persons just like the next person. I don't feel like I've even been a bad friend. You know, I've done bad things in relationships. And, you know, when you reference Kundalini rising and healing of the body and things of that nature, you know, all bets are off. You know, all pain is wiped away. All memories are, it's a complete clean slate. And this is the power of grounding, and this is the power of raising Kundalini, and we're going to attack each and every glandular process and find the actual, well, me personally, my job is to find the actual supplements that benefit those particular glands. And I've been working with my adrenal glands, because I want to give y'all kind of like a heads up of the supplements that I've been taking and their actual effects. And I'm high all the time, right? Because my body is not producing cortisol because I'm a stressful person. I struggle with anxiety. I'm always thinking about something bad is going to happen. I have to talk, excuse me, I have to talk myself out of anxiety all the time, right? I'm not out here presenting myself like I'm perfect. I have to deal with this shit all the time, right? And when I have to, oh shit, gotta talk to somebody, you know, doing a reading with somebody, they giving you their hard-earned money. They could easily, you know, just be there to defame you, take your credit or whatever the case may be, just whatever. Or you could, as a reader, I'm doing a chart, I'm studying a chart. I would hope that my information is accurate, but I could just completely whiff and just not have no connection to the person that I'm doing a reading to and just be feeling like I'm wasting that person's time. That's not easy. You know what I'm saying? And I say all of this to say that I got hella anxiety. I got hella stress, right? Nobody says, yo, support your family off of, you know, doing readings and that. Like, nobody says that. That's a real point of courage, but it's also a point of stress when things ain't going my way, or even when things is going my way, and the energy that it takes to get up for a reading, you know, because I'm gonna overcompensate. I'm not gonna give you half-ass. I'm gonna go hard. So as I'm going through all of this, I have to realize that I have to really conserve my energy. And what this whole process has been about, this whole like having the baby, just not even doing readings and things of that nature, I realized like, oh shit, I haven't been doing readings. I need to start doing readings again. You know, I have to begin to do the things that protect my energy, conserve my energy, and honor my energy, taking more days off, but still getting back to it and just being present, right? And helping the collective in the way that I could help the collective. But before all of this, man, I struggled. you know? So because of that, you know, my body produced hella cortisol like a little child. I've always been stressful. I've always had anxiety. I've always been afraid. You know what I'm saying? I grew up in the ghetto. You know what I'm saying? I grew up on 10th Street in Canton, Ohio. Every street is a street except fucking 10th Street. 10th Street is an alley, fam. Like what? Like how is 9th Street a street? 8th Street is a street. 5th Street is a street. You get the goddamn 10th Street like, hey, everybody come into my house. Where's 10th Street? I can't find it. It ain't no number. You just gonna have to bust that left when you see that alley creep up on you. You know, walking home, thinking about dog, like I've been chased by dogs. I've gotten like the hood and gunshots and just growing up, and you know, that those types of things, right, produce cortisol. This is what I'm trying to get to. They produce cortisol. You just have a stress mechanism. Like you talking to people, but you're not talking to people because you dealing with your memories. And your memories, if your memories is full of stress, for whatever reason, you have a coping mechanism that you haven't reversed. So this is like tying back to a couple points that I made a long ago. That's just you being in that dark ass room. alchemicacademic.com, signing up for the class is my attempt to open up that, click on that damn light. Cause don't lie to me. You, matter of fact, go ahead and lie to me. You standing in the room in the dark, right? And I know that because I was in the dark for real up until these past couple of days where I've been taking the actual supplements to purify my adrenal glands. So I'm not producing cortisol. I'm producing something different, and I'm feeling different. And I'm not, and not to say that I'm all perfect and all well, but I'm beginning to really see the value of these courses, the value of this work, and a person can deal with it, like deal with it or not deal with it. You're like, whatever, you know, stupid niggas doing stupid shit, whatever. That's cool. But when I say it's changing my life from the inside out, this is the first time, you know what I'm saying, that I'm able. And will it make me just throw away astrology and not do nothing in the realms of nothing else? No, it allows me to do these readings, do my astrology without the stress, right? I'm connected. I've always felt connected, and I guess I've always been connected, but the awareness of the modality that, oh, I'm a centipede and this is what I'm supposed to be doing, and it's hella people just like me doing the same thing, and as we do these things together, life will change, the world will change. You are not alone, right? It's a whole collection of people, but you're not gonna find this shit sitting watching Netflix, right? You're not gonna find it just relaxing, chilling, not doing the same thing. You know what I'm saying? You're gonna find it when you start creating. You're gonna find it when you start creating. And I was on a hell of a tangent and a hell of a rant, but I feel like this is what kind of video is gonna have. If you watch this video, like post this, the full moon conversation will actually start here. But during the lives, I try to, like, you know, give updates, just talk and just build and, you know, promote and things like that. But right now, I just want to get really detailed in the full moon. So if you've been vibing with me this far, thank you. But now we're going to get into why you're here. And if you wanted to, like, leave the video now, that's perfectly fine, because a lot of what I said relates to the full moon, but I'm just gonna pick apart a lot of the things that I said previously from an astrological point of view and from a point of clarity. A lot of people will reference astrology and they won't be able to be as clear as I'm going to be today. The reason that I'm clear is because I have a channel from Rick James. And Rick James is like the pinnacle of a channel that I've been working through for the past 2 to 3 years. I'm not going to get into it right now in this slide, but when I get to the Rick James slide, I'll get into more detail about the channel. So a lot of this information in relation to the centipede is a lot of relation to the information that I received from Rick James. Okay. And so the sun, and I'll get into that later. Peace to y'all. So the sun in Cancer is in the second decan, and the second decan, that tarot card, is abundance. The moon will be in Capricorn, in the second decan of Capricorn, and that tarot card is works. So the abundance of works. Cancer is about family, common good, or value. So value and family, they have to work in some form of tandem, because in order to have value, you have to be appraised by an external source. So you're pretty, you're ugly, right? Or you got money, you're broke. This is value. And even no matter how you feel internally, that's the weird thing, right? When you're killing it, or you think you're killing it, and people was just looking at you like, what in the hell you got on? That's value. And that's Cancer. Because Cancer is a group, right? If you think like the yellow dress is corny, or that circle thinks the yellow dress is corny, it's a whole grouping of the population that wore that yellow dress and was killing it. And everybody that wore the yellow dress was on accordance. They just didn't see each other or feel each other. So this is the deeper levels of Cancer. The apparent levels of Cancer is family and society. And of course, 15 years ago, they said, what is you doing with those ugly dreadlocks? Now everybody got faux locks. And it's just like, wow, you know, that type of thing. Or, you know, all of these type of family judgments of, oh, you burn sage. Oh, you do this and that. Hey, you remember that sage you was burning? You got some more of that? Because I was seeing on Oprah, you know, that type of deal. People really slow to get to the spirituality. And when I was in the Botanica that day, Rick James came through again and was like, see, nobody is here telling them why they buying all of this stuff for. They just gonna sell it to them. But the reality, the deeper that you get into this matrix, the deeper that you get into this rabbit hole, is that we are connected. Right? So this is the sun in Cancer. This is the 4th house. And within your connections, you could live in a space of judgment. That's the lower level of Cancer, and that's to be expected, because I'm not the sexiest dude walking down the block, right? Like, so I wouldn't, like, if I'm getting that energy, if I'm getting sexual energy or attraction energy, I realize that you're not a part of my soul group. You're a part of my distraction, right? Because I'm not out here trying to be sexy, right? I'm just out here trying to uplift humanity, right? I hear myself saying right, and I'm gonna stop. But I'm wondering who I'm talking to. I must be talking to somebody. But so you gotta know what you're doing. You can't be out here trying to have sex, because in your trajectory, in your spiritual journey, it's not to find a sexual partner. What do you mean by that, Hood? In any walk of life, in any situation, you could be working at H&R Block, you gonna hook up with somebody, spiritual or not. So when you go into a specialized school, you here to learn something new. So when you open up those doors to your botanica or to your spiritual spot, You are reconnecting that person to their ocean. This is Cancerian, right? And of course, you know how I was thinking, like, man, Hood, you gotta open up a dang on store, right? Of course, like that's how the mind is working now. Like, okay, what do I gotta do to get into somebody's store? Cause I get it, right? It's an upper level of Cancer of judgment. This lower level of Cancer is spiritual work. Work being the synonymous word because we're dealing with the moon in Capricorn. So Capricorn is split up into decans. This decan is ruled by Mars. And the Mars decan is about upward movement. It's about creativity. Because the mountain goats that have to climb up the mountain, because Capricorn is a mountain goat. What does nigga talk about mountain goats for? Why is you talking about Capricorn and you don't know that Capricorn stand for a damn goat, right? It's taken from a particular animal, and all you gotta do is observe that animal to understand what Capricorn is about. Because that's the root. Before you get to the internet and start to read what other people is saying, just get into the root of the word. Oh, mountain goat. Let me observe the mountain goat. How did the mountain goat give it up? Oh, the mountain goat is going to heights that nobody else can get to. But part of that climbing is a particular action. He don't meditate about climbing up the damn mountain, right? He don't. They do, don't they? He don't meditate about climbing up into the mountain, right? He don't think about it in the space of, you know, one day I will climb up that mountain. No, he is up in there. He got his hoofs. You ever see them documentaries? The babies be up there. Like, when a baby is able to jump, it is up to him whether he is going to live or survive. Only the strong survive. Because soon as you born as a mountain goat, you got to start jumping from cliff to cliff to get the food that nobody else can get. And in my heart, in my mind, you know, if you a Capricornian at heart, you kind of thinking like what Chris Rock say. What the hell was they eating? What was y'all eating? If y'all going to defy death, have your kids defy death to get to this upper level, that gotta be some hell of a food. And I know down here they doing GMOs, Monsanto, processed food out the yin yang. You can't go to nobody restaurant without getting GMO induced foods and things of that nature. Let me see what this goddamn mountain goat talking about, right? That's the joint right there, Terza. We got interesting music taste, Terza. You know what I'm saying? We be vibing on a different level. Most people was not going to get to the Miley Cyrus level with me, but you there with me, so you're going to have to vibe it up one day. So, in full moons, you have oppositions that you got to unify. You have the sun in Cancer, where its expression is found in value. Meaning that I'm appraising you. I'm not judging you. I'm appraising you. I'm seeing if you provide value towards my direction. Because as a Capricornian, as a mountain goat, it's a matter of life and death from cliff to cliff. Like up here, if you can't be Netflix and chilling when you on top of a mountain, right? You gotta be focused, right? But since it's sun in Cancer, you got to be focused with a grouping. So if this person right here is Netflix and chilling, and we can't be isolated, right? Because we dealing with a full moon. A full moon speaks to unification, even though it's distance, right? Because I'll do you one better. If you needed a job or something like that, and you see the job in the distance, but because it's in the distance and it's not in your present reality, you never unify those oppositions or juxtapositions. You just keep that one instance of you not having a job to be a dominant position. That's not a full moon. So in unifying this, you have to find the grouping that you can climb the mountain with. Fair enough? I think so. Yeah, I gotta get a water break in, man. I've been talking. I've been talking. Okay. So, like I said, if you're watching this on the big screen, keep the kids, cover their eyes, This is the part for the grown folks, but we're going to get into this deacon astrology, and you need to understand this deacon astrology, or else you'll be in a particular space where you have yourself and you have groups and menage a trois and people in voyeurism and things of that nature, right? What are you talking about, hood? Voyeurism? Why are you talking about voyeurism? Like, I know you got videos on your phone and you doing sexual activities. If you ain't, who gonna watch them? Even if you watching them, that's a voyeuristic point of view. And so, porn people make billions of dollars, right? Because of this energy that is present in the human collective, right? Because if human beings wasn't into voyeurism, porn wouldn't be $1 billion industry. They just commoditized it and monetized it and monopolized it. And then we have society that sits on top of it and scrutinize it. And then every conscious girl I know is going into that OnlyFans realm of understanding. I don't have no judgment, but I'm just speaking of the reality of life, because this voyeuristic aspect of humanity will not be suppressed, not even in you. And it boils, and so for OnlyFans and the pornography is a misdirection of primal energy. That primal energy is rooted in you being with others. So even if you're isolated and alone, you think it's a good idea to start an OnlyFans so you can actually be with others, so people can see you, right? And we talked about this in one of the daily energy readings. The actual people that's seeing you is not human beings, because real men is not on OnlyFans. Real men is on X videos, Pornhub, wherever we get porn at for free, right? That's just the facts. The reason why OnlyFans exists is so artificial intelligence can learn the different modalities of the female body, and is centered towards black women, of course, because the artificial intelligence is trying to learn, mimic, replicate, and then become a robotic. So I'll do you one better. Robotics is such an advanced subject and topic that a lot of you have probably even dated robots. That guy that you met on Tinder who gave you the amazing sex but had not a lot of conversation, right? These is the modalities of psychological robotics that, is locking down many of our women. So either they dealing with a bot, or they on OnlyFans and they are just giving them detailed information. But the reality is that we all want to be with others. So however you get it, you're going to get it. My hopes is to create a holistic understanding. And this can also be found in polygamy. So that's polyandry and polygyny. So whether you are a woman who want to be with two other women, like polyamory, right? This is a polyamorous energy, because say for instance, if you are a person, right, and you got multiple relationships, whether you dating or whether they serious, but y'all live in different areas, and it's this back and forth, and this secret shadow energy, this don't exist in this area. This is like, I live here, she live here, he live here, they live here. It's 4 of us, we live together. Right? We live together, but these 2 is having sex. Maybe a month from now, maybe me and her have sex later. Maybe me and her have sex, and people might say, well, that's nasty. That's gross. Say for instance you talking to a guy now, and this is all going down anyway, it's just in secret. That is nastier to me than, you know, creating a conversation. And does this have to exist in sex? It doesn't, you know, because like for me, as like doing this chakra nova thing, like I'm not sexually active at all, you know. So a person might be like, well, that's too much for me. And because I was there, you know, when you in your lower self, there's nothing, like, you can't pull a person up. However, if you in your higher self, these kind of situations, because these are the gods up here, these are the deities up here. So deities is just energies who've raised their kundalini to reach the godlike sense. And so they're just chilling, prophesizing. And then in a lower sense, they're getting it on, knocking the boots. But all of this is one. And all of this is going somewhere. Another concept that I want to throw out there is found in the deacons of Mercury and Mars. So Mars is the more primal, real, raw energy, which would be Rick James, and Michael is Mercury, the more ancient, more abundant, more talented energy. And so in detailing the channel that I got from Rick James and Michael Jackson was interesting because they were contemporaries, but you don't really see them in tandem. And there was a particular reason for that. So the second deacon is of Cancer is speaking to an abundance of ties, abundance of relationships, abundance of things that one could be possibly doing. But it's tied into your work ethic. It's tied into what you're focusing on, what you're trying to do. It is the modality of creation or destruction based upon Mercury's aspect. Mercury's aspect is that of truth. So truth is never what you want to hear, right? So this then ties into this aspect. Truth is that we are out here doing the most. Y'all watching pornos, y'all doing on Tinder, y'all fantasizing, y'all dreaming, y'all channeling, y'all always trying to be in this particular space. The truth is, sometimes you need to step away from all of that secondary, lower nature stuff and rise up to your God energy. Sometimes as a man, you got to conserve your sperm to the level of you just never getting rid of it at all. I mean, no sex, no nothing, right? And sometimes you got to make those particular sacrifices. That's truth. Especially in this spiritual journey. That's truth. If you disregard that truth, then you just kind of in a space where it's like, I know I should be doing this, but I just don't do it because my lower energy is too strong. So this is where we get to destruction. And like all energies, there's a lower energy of Mars that's tied into psychic ability because it rules the electromagnetic sphere. If you need greater detail in that, Mars Explained was one of my videos. So if your electromagnetic energy is Mars and it's not programmed the right way, then you can just remove this psychic ability just completely off the table. You can reach heights that you never knew that you could reach. But if you don't know that you can, right? If you don't see clearly, then you may want to have a better life. You may want to get the leads. You may want to get the sales. You may want to get the money. You may want to get the big house. You may want to do this, right? But you in darkness. You can't see. And you just want. Because you think that if you get it, you'll feel better. But you will get it and you will feel better, but you'll still be in darkness. So there has to be a level of raising up your energy and meeting people where you deal with them in energy exchange. And this is how you find your centipede. This is how you find your caterpillar. This is how you find your group. Okay? And this part that I want to talk about, going your own way. You either can say that you have a spirit group or a soul group, or you don't. So one day, one of the sections of the centipede said, you know what? I don't like where we going as a centipede. I'm gonna just go this way and go the other way. It just don't work like that. Maybe another analogy will work. What if your hand just decided that it ain't want to be a part of your body no more, and it just left like goddamn cousin it or something like that? Right? The Addams family or something like that. You wouldn't have a hand. So going your own way, doing your own thing, being about you, self-preservation, these are false ideas that don't compute at the deeper levels of spirituality. Yeah, they exist at the upper level. I'm not taking that away from you. Yes, they exist at the upper level. But if you're trying to progress and move in this spirit, you're going to need to have a particular level of intuition, because Neptune rules over Cancer as well as the moon. So you have subconscious energy tied into spiritual development. So if you're not able to access this part of divinity, of being beyond being used, or, you know, faulty ass relationships and wasting your time and all of this stuff that we use to cope, like, you're not getting it. So it's like, so this is why I say when I listen to spiritual conversations, I get cringed inside, because I hear people going for it, man. Like, I do this shit, right? I'm here to share. I'm taking time out of my day to share, right? I want this video to help people. I want to be there to support you with knowledge and value. I want to be here to answer the questions that you have on the spot or in the comments. I'm not going to get on this video and be here. I'm talking because it feels good to talk. It feels good to share. But I want to be clear with what I'm saying. This shit ain't about me personally. I'm a whole centipede. I got Prime. I got goddamn. It's like the Human Centipede, and that's a horror movie. I got, you know, Dark Serpent in there. What's the horror part of the Human Centipede? When one person try to separate from the group, but that's the ego. And when your ego is running out of control, you just trying to separate from your actual centipede, and you're going to be depressed. You're not going to have money. You're not going to get the fair end of the deal. You're going to be in a vulnerable situation because you have a whole unit of protection that's, you know, going to be there to protect you. But outside of this self-preservation, this ego-centric, if you want to label, like, what does the government do that's evil? That's what they do. They ideologize the individual. They preach up and speak up the individual, when in tribal concepts, the individual just did not exist. We all represent the energy of our blood and our lineages, because without two people having sex, we wouldn't even have been here. So within that concept, we are completely at the mercy of people having sex. So this is how we get to this being divine, how sex is being divine, and polygamy, polygyny, polyamory is right and exact. Monogamy will have you completely out of the loop. You don't have no smoke for me. You don't have no backup for me. I'm just triggering your ass left and right. I'm out here Mike Tyson, and you got a strong jawline too. You gonna take them too, and I appreciate that. But I'm attacking your ideologies right now. The things that you hold on to so dearly of this false reality, right? And because I'm here to build. I can't build with a false ideology. You can't have a false ideology and attempt to build and then expect that reality. And it does take time, ODD. But the modality of moving in that direction is the idea that we're working towards. And simply making that connection and moving towards that, you'll be okay. And it's not to say, you know, hood, are you and Mama Mystic and y'all into that or whatever the case may be? Like, no. You know what I'm saying? I'm saying that if we would be open and honest about it if that was a conversation. But I'm saying a lot of people are in polygamous situations and the truth needs to happen. Like, polygamy situations is what I call like when somebody getting cheated on emotionally, mentally, physically, right? Because that other person makes them happy, yet they feel guilty for communicating with that person. You know how many women, this is a digression, but you know how many women like really enjoy just talking to me and things of that nature, but in some form they feel guilty for whatever reason, maybe because they haven't like talked to my wife or things like that. These types of things represent polygamy, like the seeds of it. But what I'm saying is that you can't build because off instant is a level of guilt. It's a level of shame. It's a level of I shouldn't be doing this, that this energy, none of that exists when you Capricorn. Why can't that exist when Mars is in Capricorn or the moon is in Capricorn? Why can't that exist? Because if I'm climbing a damn mountain, the risks and the stakes is higher. Like if I fall, ain't no, you all right? You know, it's a rapture. You know, it's no coming back. You know what I'm saying? So it's really important that the people that you align with, they can be comfortable with you in all aspects and all voyeuristic points of views, and you can look at yourself in all aspects, because it's a different level moving into this energy. And I guess I can explain this a little bit further. So the nakshatra that we're representing is Shravana, the Shravana Nakshatra. This is the moon of listening. So Vishnu represents the Titan that was essentially used to create the human race. And so when they say he is the pervader, you know, I went to public schools. I said the pervader. I'm sure that means something, but I don't know what it means. So I Googled it. Pervade means an influence, feeling, or quality to be present and apparent and throughout. So this Vishnu energy came through, this pervader energy came through, and Rick James came through in the same alignment. And so the pervading part is the Titan energy that is sacrificed ritualistically, time and time again, because what we don't know is that once you cut up, we're like the Hydra. If you cut off one head, another head comes up. You cut off another head comes up. It's a reason why, like, Dolly Parton or somebody like that could pass away, and people would be like, "Oh my goodness, Dolly Parton passed away. That's really sad." And that would be really sad, right? Anybody that passed away, that'd be sad. But say, for instance, like a really famous person, like I don't want to just be throwing out names. I'll just do people that already passed away, like Aretha Franklin or something like that. When Aretha Franklin passed away, it felt a little different. I'll do you one better. Michael Jackson. When Michael Jackson passed away, I was completely paralyzed with sadness. I cried myself to sleep, and I couldn't when I was crying myself to sleep, I was thinking like, well, what in the hell is going on? Like, why am I crying like this? Like, it was so bizarre, right? Because we are centipedes. When you're not, is another understanding you can find this in The Queen of the Damned. They didn't show this particular aspect, but the reason that they wanted to kill Aaliyah was so they could take her power, right? And they did that shit in a movie, and then they did that shit in real life. That's a cold game, right? But it's even colder when you don't know who you are. And you see, but if it was like 2020 and Aaliyah was out here, she would be independent, you know, doing her videos and, you know, just making her Skrilla on her own. You know, these types of things, are doing something completely outside of music. The reason why Rihanna don't put out CDs is because the music industry and the contracts she signed were evil, you know? And so she's leveraged her goddessness into other energies for which she could be more independent and do more direct sale consumer to consumer. Don't ask me how I know this shit. Just trust me. I be listening. Shravana Nakshatra, the moon of listening. So this is part of Arthur. So the listening then becomes something that is tied into your income and your wealth. So you could begin to like provide food and shelter, will continue and sustain. Part of these moons fall in different nakshatras, which hold different variabilities in what they provide. We don't be fixated on wealth. However, we do tap into wealth when we need to tap into wealth, right? So the wealth without a middleman and all of this is tied into this full moon. There are some favorable things to do. Beginning new ventures, counseling, listening. I swear we could circle this and deal with listening like y'all cool, but a lot of people, for the most part, they just don't listen. They so desensitized, and they body that produce so much cortisol that it's just stress, right? And when you stress, because we dealing with fight or flight is like you running through the woods because a wolf is chasing you constantly, right? But that's your friend, right? That say like, I got anxiety, I be stressed out all the time. So imagine your friend when she come over to smoke a blunt with you and you trying to talk to her that she's running through a forest getting chased by a wolf. And then it'll make more sense why your points don't never hit, why your advice she don't never take. Because when your cortisol levels is high, there's just nothing that nobody can say to you. There's nothing that nobody can do. So the worst thing a person can say is that, oh, I got anxiety. I got anxiety. That means every decision you make, you're not going to make it because you in a specific space of fear. But that's a hormonal action that's taking place at the root of a behavior, right? So if you're trying to correct the behavior and not dealing with the seed of the actual behavior, you see how you need to do this, you need to do that, you need to do this. Hey, oh, you just haven't journaled enough. You just haven't done this enough. You just haven't done that enough. That's your problem. Oh, you need to meditate. Cool. I'm not saying that these things are bad, but I'm saying if your hormonal structure is not changing when it results into stress, nothing's gonna work. Nothing that you say is going to resonate. Every point you make is gonna feel like you've said nothing because cortisol levels is high. And with this actual pandemic that we've been experiencing, you can forget about it. That's why when people say things to me, I just come right back with a question. I don't know what question I'm gonna come with. I'm gonna just ask them something so they can think about what they say. And if they have a valid answer, we can encourage in discourse. But many people will regurgitate and reiterate points that they read, which have no actual point of reference in truth. This is why questions can help a person get out of anxiety. You know, I'm always this, I'm always that. Spirit will give you a question if you listen in that'll help your friend. Well, why? If you get them to start to think about it, at least in that moment, they're not producing cortisol. And if you can stay in these zones and provide a point of reflection, Rick James does have an album called Reflections, where you can reflect. So say you're doing the work, but people around you are not dealing with this work or whatever. But you're around them, you got to deal with them for whatever reason. How do you do that? You begin to listen. And when you listen, you act. What am I saying that you don't do? Well, what really happens is when people say shit, you trigger emotionally, and now you producing cortisol, right? Y'all both producing cortisol, so it's like, what up? What up? Fight. Flight. Fight or flight. Fight or flight, nigga, what? You know? Cortisol levels. And then it's like, oh, why do black people always and da-da-da-da-da? Because of stress. Well, how do you deal with stress? You don't give them more money. They'll just create more stress. You teach them. So we're learning a lot of things. We have our resources. We have our property. We have this. We have that. Now what we're given is a modality of the inner, right? Because you need that too, right? It wasn't going to be in a completely external journey and a completely, you know, we're going to get all of the money. And once we have that money, we're going to be good. People still getting money, you know, people getting loans and unemployment. It ain't saving the world, right? I would say mainly because we have an actual full moon. And so this full moon is T-squaring Uranus. And Uranus in the second decan deals with integrity or virtue. And I like to say integrity is, are you this person that you say you are day in and day out? And sometimes people is so non-integrous that society has even made it to be like normal to just not be like show integrity to be a strong suit. But this is one of the main formulaic fires to the alchemical journey. Like, you gotta be what you say you gonna be 24/7. And if you think that this is a game, like, if you think that everything that I'm doing and the shit that I'm talking about, I wouldn't stand on it. I was there when my alchemical fires were being stoked, right? I know that a part of this is that I have to be authentic. And being authentic is that I'm not perfect and, you know, I got hella flaws. But I feel like we are the same in that aspect. But I could be wrong. So Uranus in the second decan of Aries, which is ruled by the sun, which is ruled by expression. Now, expression falls into two characters, impulse or initiative. You can't have impulse if you have initiative. So this questions your initiative full throttle. And you should always question your initiative. Every day I question my initiative. Even if I think I know what I'm doing, I make sure that what I'm doing is right and exact with my alignment and my initiative. And I do not have time to watch X videos or Pornhub or be on Instagram scrolling, Netflix patrolling, you know, talking about the next hip hop battle between Juicy J and Nas. I don't have time to talk about the bubble and that type of thing because I am in initiative mode. And this is how you got to sidestep a square, right? No pun intended. That wasn't a shot to nobody, but you got to sidestep a square by having a particular plan of initiation of getting something started. Because if you don't have this initiative, and of course initiative is a seed, like you got to just have a seed to stoke the alchemical fires. And the idea is to not be there. The idea is to get there. However, you got to know where you're going. So that creates initiative. But in that very 2 sentences that I just said creates the doubt for which a person does not stoke their alchemical fires, right? They just simply say, well, I don't have enough followers to go live, or I don't have enough subscribers to do this, or I don't have enough this, I don't have enough that. Did you put out some content though? Did you curate that content? Did you tag that content? Did you post that content? Did you share that content? Did you message people? Did you have a reason for a person to click on your video, or did you just put out content and want people to like it? So of course that initiative has to be checked moment to moment, day to day. Even now, you see this slideshow, I was like, I gotta think about a different way to do a slideshow. Like even if I'm gonna just keep doing the slideshows, I love doing slideshows, but I'm like, I gotta figure out a different design or a different flow, because my initiative, because I could easily get into the impulse and just be copy and paste on your ass and say, I know you like it, even if you don't. But that's just a small example. To surmise, you can't have initiative and impulse at the same time. If you're going to let impulse rule your life, then you are going to be dead in the center of a square. If you want to have initiative, which is a seed, you got to make sure that the climate and the soil and all of these things is okay. But other than that, you just got to have an actual hope. Ain't no telling what's going to happen. But that do not stop farmers every 3 months planting their seeds. Through initiative, not through impulse. And this is something that we got to really wrap our minds around. So, the moon in Capricorn is square Mars and Lilith in Pisces. So Mars is the creative, sexual, electromagnetic energy of human beings. So a high Mars is a very sexual, strong man that he don't gotta ask you to come to the hotel room. He just gotta tell you what room number it is and your ass will be there. Hey, babe, I decided I'm gonna spend the night over Tamika's house. Okay, you all right? Yeah, I'm just a little drunk. Don't want to drive home. Okay, I'll see you later. You don't even cheat. You're not a cheater, right? But this Mars done looked at you, and he ain't asked you either. He was confident. He ain't even asked you if you even had a husband. Girl, you got a husband and 3 kids at home. He walked up to the table. Room 336. The Sheridan. Your ass came up with a lie so quick. Your ass was up in that hotel room so fast. That's Mars. Right? That's Mars. See, Mars, you don't even gotta see. My Mars is like, you don't gotta be sexy or nothing like that. You just gotta know that, girl, you just don't like, you just gotta have that kind of veracity about yourself. And it's like, I want to show you how I feel type of energy. Lilith is the blood. So when Mars conjunct Lilith, it activates something in the blood from an electromagnetic space. And this is where Queen Victoria came up and she was like, say, we was kings and queens. And they took everything. And she laughed about it because what we know that they don't know is that royalty is found in the blood, not in paperwork. So royalty cannot be hidden. So as Mars conjuncts Lilith in this energy of Pisces, we are entering the last thresholds of ignorance. As your blood is activated and your ancestors begin to sing a song of praise and joy, I want you to go to every video that you've seen predict doom and gloom that pointed out negative people and start labeling them people as negative people, right? We ain't pointing out nobody but ourselves. And everybody that was exposing people, trust me when I say that they exposed themselves. And as Mars is in Pisces, we are at the threshold of the end. Well, another way of saying this is the beginning of the end. So all of these people are highly excitable. All of these spiritual people are highly excitable because they've been talking about stuff that they know not. We are here representing our ancestors that are here activated. And the more that we tap into that, the more we'll be able to understand what's happening in our relationships. So what could be expected depending? So it could come off two ways. You could be in a relationship through obedience. Shout out to you, Prime, where we reference the wife as the boss, but that's a submissive position within a relationship. And it's not submissive to the point where it strips you of dignity or respect. Your submission takes you to another level. I'll do whatever my wife says because she's earned that respect, right? She's shown me that she should be listened to, right? So when this energy shift hits, it's going to show how me and my wife were destined to be together through blood, through pacts, through spiritual contracts, our children, our life. Like, my kids, for no prompt whatsoever, will just break out into how rich I'm gonna be. Daddy, you gonna be so rich. You gonna have so much money. You gonna be just wanting to buy stuff and take us places and just go travel all over the world. Daddy, you gonna be so rich. And I just be like, who said I was broke? Like, what is y'all really trying to say? But I digress. That's the positive side of Mars and Lilith, because the blood is in alignment. But having Mars and Lilith still gives you abilities, but it gives you subjective power. So you are manifesting relationships that you want. They don't have nothing to do with your ancestors. They don't have nothing to do with your lineage. They have nothing to do with your past. They have nothing to do with your purpose. It's because I read in a book one time that I'm this way, so I'm going to just deal with that way that I am. And the people that I attract, even though they don't give me nothing that I want, I'm going to still deal with them. That begins to be a negative thing. And so the shadow of the relationships will present themselves, and they are going to present themselves, and they are coming to light for a good reason. The idea is to let those things go, right? With everything that's been said up to this video, you should be strengthened enough into letting things go that aren't for you, and trusting enough that you'll find your centipede. Because we're dealing with a threshold. As Mars enters into Aries, Mars has a whole new perspective on how to exhibit his creative, sexual, and psychic functions. And this Mars is represented in a energy of Rick James. So Mars dominant individuals are men and women. There are women that hold the resonance of multiple partners, and those partners are with her because she is the Martian of the group. There are men that are Martians that hold the dominant position, hold their family down, are the masculine leader. And there are also men that don't have that resonance. They would be a beta. Or I don't like using that word, but they don't have that energy. Them be the type of women that y'all could double up on. But then if you start dealing with men that you could do this thing with, you gotta do shadow work and not resenting them for not being room 338, little mama. Yeah, I was thinking, you know what? The whole restaurant closed. Locked us up in here, babe. Yep. They said we can't get out till the morning, so they gave us all air mattresses. We all go, no, don't call about it. Trust me, yeah. I'm gonna just sleep in this hotel. Hotel. Oh, he's tripping. I'm gonna sleep in this restaurant. It's on lockdown. COVID happened or something. I'll talk to you later, okay? Hit you with that 336. Talking about an entanglement. That dick. Man. So it do feel like that though, right? So the idea is that your relationships are not to be fake. They don't center into society. As society crumbles and falls, so do your morals, but not your integrity. So keep your integrity up and your morals in the realms of immortality into your spiritual reincarnation cycle. Tap into your real levels of power and present yourself knowing that you are moving in the form of a centipede. That's easier said than done, but we're here now. So I can give you what I can. Room 336. You ain't got no kids, no husband tonight. He didn't ask. Why you do? You ain't told him you had a husband. He didn't ask, so I didn't think it was pertinent. I didn't know he wanted to do all that when he wanted to come to his hotel room. I thought, I know what I was thinking. He was a Martian. he had a particular energy. So, the energy of Dionysus, Vishnu, is a particular story. Let's see if we can read real quick. If you want this book link is in my description. You don't have to search for it. You just have to find the link and click it. It is, I know this is going to be all bad, so I'm going to just scan it up and down because my camera's at a lag from the chat. So this is the Encyclopedia of Spirits, the ultimate guide to the magic of fairies, genies, and demons, ghosts, gods, and goddesses by Judica Illis. We are now referencing her Dionysus portion, and I'm only going to reference one part that I want to talk about. Okay, yeah, this is the part. Dionysus was twice born, first as the child of Zeus and his daughter Persephone. Zeus named him Zagreus and designated him his heir over all his other children. Jealous Titans kidnapped Zagreus, ripped him to pieces, and ate him, except for his heart, which Athena rescued, reduced the Titans to ashes, and formed humans from the ashes. Thus, all people share in Dionysus or Zagreus's essence. So, right now, I want to deal with some things that we call, because in doing my notes, I was like labeling a whole bunch of stuff, and I was like, it all falls into the realm of magic. So that little piece of magic that we have is Dionysus or Vishnu, right? How do we access this little piece of magic that we have? Well, we don't actually deal with it through our modality of study unless we study like crazy, or in this position where we just are compelled to study, like you just driving in the car reading something, like you just like you in a trance. So in order to access this magical ability, we find it in the realms of trance. So there are many different energies, many different people who possess this Dionysian energy. We call them rock stars or entertainers and things of that nature. There were three. There was Michael Jackson, who was Mercury, and then there was Dionysus, who was Rick James, and I was clear on Prince, and for the sake of like honesty and truth, I'm not that clear on Prince. I would have to go back into my files and get because I want to say Prince is Dionysus, but there's only one Dionysus, and that's Rick James. Now, Rick James is, so now I'm in the realms of channeling, so this is more storytelling time. So Michael Jackson had been in the industry for years by the time it came into the late 70s or 80s. And at this time, Michael Jackson was doing Wizard of the Oz, Diana Ross, Can You Feel It? Can you feel it? Can you feel it? Just that real like corny pop stuff, you know, doom doom, don't stop till you get enough, that type of stuff, right? And Rick James was the Dionysus of the energy. Michael was the Mercury of the energy. So Mercury is the father of Dionysus. Mercury is the midwife to Dionysus. He brought him to life. The story is that they were supposed to work together, but Michael was brainwashed since he was a child into like ego MK Ultra stuff. And the ego was like, you don't know what it's like to be 6 years old and told that you're the greatest thing that ever existed every single day. You know, to be viral before viral even existed. That's a heavy toll on the soul. So it wasn't corny, but it wasn't nothing that's related to Billie Jean and Off the Wall. And so Off the Wall doesn't happen if Rick James don't exist. His subject matter, his rhythms, his aggressiveness, his almost sexual nature. The kid is not my son. Pretty Young Thing. You hear Pretty Young Thing and times it with Super Freak, and it's basically the same song. So the energy for which catapulted Michael Jackson into superstardom is the energy of Rick James. And this is from the horse's mouth. If you don't agree with it, I'll do you one better. Google all four of their names together: Michael Jackson, Rick James, and guess what the first things that you'll see on there? Google it right now. You'll see that Michael Jackson stole from Rick James. So the deeper thing is that they were supposed to unite as a unit. They were supposed to be the next level of Motown. They were supposed to unite. Him and Michael, they were on the same label. They were father and son. And if all things considered, that would have happened without no hiccup, no problem, no issue. But the mind control that took place at a very young age for Michael Jackson was too much to overcome. So very gently, very, very delicately, Rick James was ushered out of the musical conversation. And, you know, just a whole bunch of crazy stuff had happened. Because when you blackballed and you got talent, more talent than the most successful person on the planet, that would drive you crazy. So the depression and the darkness and the hatred that everybody, Michael Jackson, and it's Rick James' whole style, led to his death. But when he dies, he has the whole like transformation, transition, you know, purification, you know, realization, and how do we make this thing right? He pulls Michael Jackson down, and then they pull Prince down, and then they become this centipede. And now there is no friction or fight between them. Just recently, George Floyd, this happened in Minneapolis, the home of Prince. This was a response in triggering our blood to create the solutions necessary at any and every turn. But because we're dealing with a spiritual war. And so when things happen from a spiritual level, counterintuitive to the right and exact, there has to be a solution that forms. And this solution is not formed in the ego, it's formed in unity. Rick James has a song called Unity. Michael Jackson doesn't have a song called Unity. And so at first, Rick James was playing a trickster on Michael, because the thing that drove Michael crazy was that he was the biggest record star ever. But if he put out a CD like before he passed away, nobody wanted to hear that. And that like blew blood vessels. Like at that point where people just didn't want to hear him as an artist, and you know, he's looking at like people love Elvis and all of these other older acts get this love. He was like, what did I do wrong? You know, but of course they say the children, he was messing with the children, but they also don't say that he never grew. When he reached his adulthood, he was 6 years old. So it's not to say that he messed with kids, but it's easy to say that he did, because them is the people that he can kick it with. Them is the people that he can understand, and they understand him. That's the level that he on. He was 6 years old, like on tour, you know? Forget it. Ain't no high school or normalcy for that dude. So we've seen them unify into their Brahma-like position, where it's the three masculine gods. We have Vishnu, Shiva, and Brahma. I'm trying to think. I can't remember if it's Vishnu, Shiva, and there's one more. Let me see real quick, because I guess the information for that third one, yeah, I had it right the first time. Vishnu, Shiva, and Brahma. This is the energy for which, like, we could bear witness. So I was born in 1984. So we have Michael Jackson, we have Rick James, and we have Prince. They were killers, like just musical geniuses, right? And they transitioned. You don't kill energy, fam. Energy does not die, fam. They have they have come into a different energy. Like you don't have nobody else up there with them. There are no contemporaries. There is no other. Well, what about such and such? You ain't gonna add him with that group? No. It's Michael Jackson, it's Prince, and there's Rick James. And mainly because the way that they transition and how it wasn't nobody checking for them before they transition. You know, they have been reduced to a meme and a joke, to the point that I'm having this conversation about divine beings who are here to help you ascend and give you the information necessary to help you. You might think that it's a Dave Chappelle skit. And Dave Chappelle was really keen into being tied into this ritual from that 843 thing he did. So you got that. And then so up until like the birth of my child, people think I named my son after Jesse James the Outlaw, but I never really named him James for no particular reason, right? But I was studying last night, and I was just studying some like real basic boring stuff. And then out of nowhere, I heard cold-blooded. And then I'm like, cold-blooded? And so I just got into like a real meditative space, and I just began to, go about my day, but just kind of listen. And I heard things like centipede, and, it was like a clear conversation that I was having, And it's like Rick James, but I named my son Jesse James. And when people ask me like, well, why you name him James? I'm just like, I don't really know. But I do know I was listening to Tina Marie like constantly. And of course, there are cohorts in this thing. She's a bacchanalia of some sorts, but the deepest devotee of this particular energy that got allowed to reincarnate with him this time and go around and actually attribute her sense of fame, but which is the primal root of all. But just from a mythological point of view, I was able to deal directly with Tina Marie for about 2 to 3 months. And I wasn't really into the Rick James at all. You know what I'm saying? I wasn't into it up until last night. That's how spirit works. So I literally named my son.
Mom said, come here, soldier.
Okay. Well, live over, family. We'll talk later. I'll get back on this a little time.